an EC 103.1 sports presentation. Eureka College Red Devils football on EC 103.1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. We are here in Fulton, Missouri for week 2 of football here at Eureka as the Red Devils get ready to take on the Westminster Blue Jays. Both teams undefeated to start the season. Eureka had a great game last week in the Lincoln Bowl. Westminster ended up beating Manchester on the road last week, 21-14. Drew, what went well last week for the Eureka Red Devils, especially in that fourth quarter?
Well, they never gave up. They never had any panic in them, even when they went down 13 points. Everybody worked together. They stayed cool, calm, and collected. Darius Warren had an unbelievable game, in my opinion. He turned it around in the second half, running in for the 2-point conversion, which ultimately sealed the deal. And then obviously the game-winning pick. I think the defense really kept the Red Devils in the whole game. They had a lot of huge stops and huge sacks when need be.
Yeah, it was a very exciting game, and I believe that's going to be the moral of the season here for Eureka, just to not give up, and that's exactly what we saw last week. Moving things forward between these two sides, the all-time series record is at 5-5. The teams are even. Here in Fulton, Westminster has beaten Eureka, and then back home in Eureka, Illinois, Eureka leads that one 3-2. This is going to be the first meeting with head coach Randy Starks against Westminster, so that'll be a good start for him, and hopefully he gets on the positive side of this game. The last meeting between these two sides, Eureka won by a landslide. This was back in October of 2017. Eureka won 48-6. That was the final. And as both teams get ready, it is a very hot one today. Drew, I think you can kind of talk a little bit more about that and what we've gone through on our way here.
Well, not only just us, but the heat's going to play a significant factor for our guys on the field, especially in those pads. I mean, and on the turf, it makes it feel at least an extra 10 to 5 degrees warmer. So it's going to come down to stamina and stamina for sure to see who can outlast the other.
Yeah, right now it is about 89 degrees here in Fulton, Missouri. So, yeah, props to the players for being out there getting ready to play. But as we know, it'll be junior Darius Warren as the quarterback here for Eureka, who made a statement last game, passing the ball a lot more. That's something we've been preaching to see out of these Red Devils. And speaking of quarterbacks for Westminster, it'll also be the junior Trey Thomas. He led last week's game with 187 passing yards. And, of course, that includes a touchdown in their season opener. They have a lot of great players, including running back Marquise Williams. But we will talk about a little bit more about each of their players in just a minute. But for now, we are going to take a quick break. Again, we have the Eureka Red Devils on the road here, getting ready to take on the Westminster Blue Jays. Both teams 1-0, and both teams on the field ready to get things going. We will be back after a quick break. Once again, you are listening to EC 103.1 with Matthew Swan and my broadcast partner, Drew Donnell. Stay tuned here on EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technology.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news on air, online, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Oh! I love this guy!
What's your name?
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina.
We return here in Fulton, Missouri as the opening kickoff is underway, and the Blue Jays brought that one to, I believe, just short of the 35-yard line. So a good start for Westminster. I believe that was Wright who broke free from a tackle and his helmet came off just shortly after, and he was brought down. So it'll be Westminster to start things off here offensively. And again, we mentioned quarterback Trey Thomas, who had an amazing game last week.
The physicality shown as Jay Crowder literally about took someone's head off as he ripped a helmet off.
First snap of the game, and there will already be a penalty down on the field. We'll have to take a look to see what that one is. And as you can imagine, both teams pretty amped up. One thing we did not mention in the pregame, this is actually Westminster's homecoming game. So you can imagine all the fans here in support for the Blue Jays. Both teams lined back up.
And it was an offsides.
Thomas with the snap. There's the handoff up the middle. That's going to be Keegan Zidell for a decent gain right at about the 40. And a very positive sign here for Westminster in the early stages.
Well, Matthew, you said it in the beginning that Darius Warren had a bit of a statement game, and I think that this one also is going to be a statement game to see whether he can lead the Red Devils to 2-0 or not.
Thomas calls for it. There's another handoff and the fake pass. Here's a lot of room, but suddenly being wrapped up, and I believe that tackle is going to go to Beverson Noel from Eureka. Good stop there from the Eureka defense, who just shined in last game against Knox.
This is what the Red Devils did really good last week against Knox. Whenever Knox would get about third and 4, third and 3, they did a really good job of stopping them. Now, granted, McClellan for Knox was battling an injury as he came out mid-game, but they still did a really good job stopping him.
Thomas again on the snap, another handoff up the middle, and slightly another gain. Very short yardage here in the beginning of this one. Westminster slowly moving their way into Red Devil territory right now at about the 50-yard line to be exact. Trey Thomas play calling, trying to move the ball very quickly. Here's the call. Thomas going to fire this one looking downfield. Here's a good throw to the 20. That one is going to be broken up, and that is a great stop there from Eureka's Javon Gibson. And again, remember that Thomas for Westminster had 187 passing yards last game, so you can expect to see a lot from the junior quarterback out of Texas.
We mentioned Javon Gibson in the opening, that he had the play that sealed the deal with an interception.
And that's a mistake on the Blue Jays defense. There was the snap. Thomas was trying to hand it off to his running back, who ran the completely opposite direction. Thomas spun to his left. Turns out running back was on the right, and that will be a loss of yardage for the Blue Jays. So it'll be third down. Eureka's sideline starting to get a little bit more amped up as the momentum slightly sways over to their side. Here's another snap. Thomas looking downfield, fires a bullet, and that one will be broken up. Another Great play from the Eureka defense. This time Christopher Walker, and that will be 4th down.
It was towards the end, around the end of the 3rd quarter, into the 4th quarter last game, during that Lincoln Bowl game, when Eureka got a lot better at covering the passing play, and it shows here tonight. It's continuing from Saturday evening's game.
So Eureka with a great start on defense. Now all of a sudden they will get the football here. Isom in the backfield, and Eureka's going to let this one roll all the way to the end zone. Westminster unable to pick it up at the 1. This one will roll out of bounds, and Eureka will start at the 25. A lot of positive signs here for Eureka early.
For sure, with it being so humid and hot out, I don't think that's going to have an effect on them. I think that they know that the first game was a statement game, and they want to, I think, in my eyes, prove that every game's a statement game, considering how last season went.
So Eureka's offensive line on the field, and of course the quarterback Darius Warren. And remember, he had a great game last week, allowed Eureka to obtain possession of their very first win since September of 2023. Westminster getting into it. Both teams ready. And right away, it looks like there will be a penalty against Eureka before they can even get the snap off.
And that'll send them back 5 yards.
Yeah, so maybe I spoke a little bit too soon about things looking pretty sharp here for Eureka early, but they still have a lot of time in this game to continue making a statement. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. Running to his right. Now he's going to flip it into the hands. I believe that was Delarian Rose for Eureka, and it'll be a short gain. And I actually want to make a correction. The quarterback for Eureka will be Rudolph Jones Jr., making his first start of the year. The freshman standing at 6'0", 185 out of Miami, Florida. So Jones may be a little hesitant. Maybe there are some nerves on the field waiting for the snap. Jones looking to his right. Now he's going to break free from some pressure, still running on his feet, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down. And that was number 45 from Westminster, Jeremiah Beliezer. And he was pumped after making that tackle.
I think we're seeing a lot of nerves right now at the quarterback position. I think he tried to force a play that wasn't there, and ultimately wasn't able to throw it away out of bounds. Instead, it's going to be a very long 3rd down here.
So a loss of 5 on the play. And Drew, like you mentioned, 3rd down. Jones directing traffic on the field. Here's the snap. He's going to have to fire this one. Pressure's coming, and it's deflected. And Eureka just fortunate to not have that one intercepted. Jones visibly upset with himself on the play, but as the pressure was coming and he was able to pick up on the defenders rushing towards him, he kind of just flipped it away, and it was deflected. Fortunately, it hit the ground before any other Blue Jay was able to make the catch, and Eureka's defensive team back out on the field. So both teams unsuccessful in their opening drives tonight. 10 minutes, 42 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. 0-0 is our score. Play clock winding down. Here is the snap. Kick is up. This one already in Eureka territory. Calling it off for the fair catch on Westminster is number 5, Campton Hicks. And that is going to be a great start for this Westminster offense. And this is a little bit how last week's game started out as well. Both teams were really struggling to just put numbers on the board early on. And right off the bat, it seems like this is going to be another one of those games.
Right, last game was an interesting start to the game. Eureka opened up with about a 50-yard return on the kickoff, and then ultimately had the field goal attempt blocked.
On the play fake, Thomas fired to his left, and fortunately enough for Eureka, it was Javon Gibson once again stopping any form of gain here. So Gibson really making himself known on the field. Not a name that we mentioned too often last week, but all of a sudden he's really starting to step up here. Here's the snap once again. Thomas downfield to his left. This ball is going deep. There's a flag. Catch is made. Was he in bounds? That was caught by the wide receiver, Connor Coffey. There was a flag thrown, and Coffey did make the catch, and you can imagine the penalty will be going against Eureka. So a large gain there for the Blue Jays, and Thomas with his first completion of the night.
They haven't officially moved the chains yet.
Certainly the fans and the players on Westminster think that they will be moved up, and it will be a 50-yard penalty against Eureka, specifically Micah Gilchrist, the strong safety. And those are the dangers of taking on a challenge like that. Of course, on one hand, you want to stop the player from making the catch, but you have to be careful because the referee was right there to make the call.
Right, it's all about the push and the wrapping of the hands around the waist. Even just a little bit will trigger a flag at any point.
And they do finalize the call as the fans get a little bit more excited. And
this will push the Blue Jays in the red zone, and we'll see if they can capitalize. It looks like the ball will be on maybe the 9-yard line, no, the 8-yard line.
Thomas once again on the snap. He's going to hand it off to his running back, who will be wrapped up just short of scoring the first points of the game. Number 24, Trace Hassell with the carry. A gain about maybe 2 yards on the play. And just under 10 minutes left to go here in this first quarter. And on the sideline, we could see the kicker, number 34, William Corley, warming up, getting ready for a potential extra point. Offensive line in position. Here's the snap again. Thomas backing up, fires to his right. The catch is made, and a huge takedown from Eureka. So the pass originally was caught by Marquise Williams, the running back. And Eureka's defenders all over that one, similarly to last week. So it'll be 3rd and 2. And you can imagine that this will be a running play. Although Thomas never afraid to be a little aggressive and switch things up. Here's the snap, handoff, fake handoff, and Thomas will take it himself into the end zone, and that is a Blue Jays touchdown, make it 6-0 here in the first quarter. Trey Thomas with the fake handoff to Trace Hassell, and he just ran to his left and pretty much put his body on the line to get into the end zone. And all of a sudden, the kicker, William Corley, who we just mentioned, hesitates on the kick and somehow manages to still get it up, and it is good. Make it 7-0 Blue Jays with just under 9 minutes to go here in quarter number 1.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen a kicker hold their kick and then kick it again.
Yeah, Corley ran forward, and as the defense was starting to rush towards him, he just stopped his momentum and somehow made it in. Yeah, that is quite surprising. You don't see that really at all. Way to think quick on his feet.
Well, they go back to last Saturday to show how good Darius Warren just was. He was 17 for 34 on attempts and completions.
And
throwing for a solid 50% with 1 touchdown and a handoff to Jay Crowder that also resulted in the 2-point conversion that Warren ran in himself that ultimately gave the Red Devils their first lead of that game.
Yeah, Warren last week over 200 passing yards as well. And Eureka's offense ready to receive. This one will be Isom making the catch. Running up the middle, now takes a shift to his left, and he trips over a defender. Another decent-sized gain for Eureka, who still has yet to cross the 50-yard line in this game. But it is only their second drive. And once again, Rudolph Jones Jr. back out on the field, hoping to do a little bit better than his first possession. Both sides get lined back up. Westminster's sideline getting a little more into it. Here's a handoff running up the right side and being brought down. Another short gain. And all of a sudden it looks like they will bring in the junior Darius Warren. So maybe the pressure was a little bit too much for Jones. And Warren, the hero in last week's game in the Lincoln Bowl, will make another appearance.
This would especially be a meaningful game for the Red Devils to win, as it's Westminster's homecoming night tonight here in Fulton, Missouri.
There's another handoff, and Westminster's defense all over that one. Alex Goley, the linebacker, was in the right spot at the right time to make the tackle. And it will remain 3rd and 8 here for Eureka. 7 minutes, 50 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Eureka breaks out of their huddle, and Warren.
As you mentioned, the junior from Sullivan, Missouri, Alex Goley, made no mistake on that hit. That was a bone-crushing hit.
Warren's going to fire, and he makes the catch on the right side. And he is brought down. A huge play there by Aaron Lucas, the running back. So that will be Warren's first completion of the night, but again, not good enough for a first down. It'll be 4th and 4.
And looks like the Red Devils are going to bring on their special teams unit and punt this one away.
On a side note, the sun is finally starting to set. So the weather may be getting a little cooler for those football players. Eureka in their white jerseys, Westminster in their baby blues. Snap is up. Here's the kick, almost blocked, but it is in the air. This one is going to be caught, and the fair catch signal made for Westminster. They will start it around that 26-yard line, just shy of the 30. So we've seen 2 Eureka drives up to this point so far. Both unsuccessful, but we can see the progress being made already after the switch from the freshman Rudolph Jones Jr. to Darius Warren in the quarterback position.
Well, if we look at the games that we covered last season, it seemed like the Red Devils were more of a team that would always start out cold in the first quarter, and then when it came about the end of the end of the first half and into the second half is when they would start to get their groove. Oh,
and
nice.
There is a huge takedown from Derek Payton Jr. Payton, who did the same thing last week against Knox multiple times. He is just all over the running back, not only from Westminster, but also from Knox last week. And that is going to be a loss of 3 for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, we've talked about the junior from West Seattle, Washington so many times. And I mean, it just seems like he I don't want to say runs the end. That pass is blocked.
Play
That's a nice
fake
play.
and deflected. So it'll be 3rd and 13 for Westminster. And again, Eureka just really starting to get into it defensively. We've made a few notices over the last 2 games between Eureka's defense last year and then of what we have seen from them this year, and we could already see the development, the improvement from each of their players.
That was Jawan Evans, a freshman from Miami, Florida, who blocked that pass.
3rd and 13. Thomas here on the snap. He's going to have to fire. Looking downfield, runs to his right. A lot of space. He fires on the run. Nearly picked off, but it is caught. And more than a first down for Westminster. Keegan Zybel made the catch. Just as you thought Thomas was in trouble, he somehow manages a way to escape the pressure and still fire a complete pass to the right side for a first down.
Well, that's one of the things that Thomas is so good at, is being able to throw on the run, scramble out, not hesitate at all, no panic in him at all.
And he's back at it here. Another completion, this time to Gabe Dace. And the ball comes, looks like the ball came out for a minute, but Westminster remains with the football. As we approach the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter, Blue Jays lead it 7-0. Again, you are listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Thomas again on the snap, looking to fire. This time he's wrapped up and brought down for a loss. Great comeback from this Eureka defense.
Looked like Will Watkins, the linebacker from Flint, Michigan, was in the scrum as he sacked Thompson, I think.
We're already seeing a variety of players from Eureka getting a chance to make a statement, and that's exactly what they've done up to this point. Thomas again on the snap, looking to his left. Pass was deflected and nearly intercepted, but one of Eureka's players ended up slipping, unable to make the catch. It'll be 3rd down for Westminster.
That was Brent Potts out there, who I think he got a little fooled by that pass getting deflected. It was coming right at him, and then it got deflected. And then, I mean, when plays happening that fast, it's almost impossible to react in enough time.
That would have completely shifted the momentum. 4:10 here in this first quarter. Thomas again looking downfield, fires to his left to an open receiver. Again, Keegan back at it to make the catch, and plenty good for a first down for the Blue Jays. And despite Eureka's defense, I believe he was just short of a first down.
No, he was about 3 to 4 yards short. It was close, but not quite, as the Blue Jays are forced to take a 3-and-out and punt this away to Devane Isom.
Yeah, I was about to say the way that Eureka's defense seems to be going about things is that they are playing great defense overall, but then all of a sudden they somewhat allow the Blue Jays to have a few open passes that maybe are a little too open. Fortunately, the Red Devils do get the ball back after the fair catch by Isom, and the Red Devils will start with the football on the 9. So again, on their 3rd drive of the night, unable to get a huge gain to start things off offensively, but again, we see Darius Warren back out on the field, and you can imagine that he might be the one they stick with throughout the rest of this game. Here's the snap, handoff to the right. Westminster all over that one. It'll be a very short gain for the Red Devils.
Yeah, it looked like it was about maybe 3 or 4 yards on the gain, as it was 4. It's going to be 2nd and 6.
Eureka moving things very slowly here on offense to start off the game.
Yeah, it's almost like we're watching 2 different types of styles where Thompson and the Blue Jays are moving quite quick.
Warren fires, and it was initially caught. Unfortunately, though, for Eureka, unable to make the catch. So it will be 3rd and 6 for the Red Devils.
Yeah,
and
they tried a little screenplay to Ronnie Sanders, the running back.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Warren has such a high level of accuracy despite not picking up the completion. He is an amazing quarterback, ready here on 3rd and 6.
And he'll always put a decent amount of zip behind every pass he throws, so never underthrow you.
The snap once more. This time he just fires it to his right to nobody, right around that 15-yard line, and that will be 4th down. So a quick 3 up, 3 out here for Eureka.
I think he played it as if he saw nobody open, threw it to the closest receiver out of bounds, and just took his medicine, as that's going to be another 3 and out for the Red Devils.
So the Blue Jays still lead it 7-0. 2 minutes, 41 seconds left to go here in the first quarter, and they will once again regain possession of the football. As we see, snap is up, flag is thrown down, kick is up as well. Hicks the one to make the fair catch, but we do have a penalty marker on the field. And it looked like the flag was thrown right as the kick went up. So again, this one will go against the Red Devils. I believe that is their 3rd penalty of the game.
As that one, I believe, was an illegal formation, according to the official on the microphone down on the field.
The Blue Jays will start with the ball on the 42-yard line in Eureka territory. So this is starting to become a pattern that we're seeing between Westminster's offense and Eureka's offense.
Now, I was just about to say, even although the Red Devils have to be frustrated that, they're taking all these 3 and outs and they're forced to punt, you also have to imagine that Westminster is just as frustrated, because every time they feel that they're going to get another opportunity to score, they have been scoring, and this defense has been shutting them down.
Thomas and the Blue Jays back on the field, waiting for the snap. 2:35 left to play in the first quarter. Handoff running up the middle. Escapes from a tackle, and still on his feet, finally being brought down is Marquise Williams once more. And that is the kind of fight you'd like to see out of a running back.
Yeah, absolutely no will to give up at all. Plowed through about 5 Red Devil defenders.
Another running play. They're down on the field for another small gain. I believe it will be good for a 1st down.
As they are moving the chains, so it'll be 1st and 10 on the 31.
Blue Jays here once again moving very quickly. Another run, and this time it'll be Williams who is brought down. So Westminster trying to move in between plays very quickly.
And just to give you folks at home an idea of how fast the Blue Jays are playing right now, when they got that 1st down, the folks moving the chains didn't even finish moving the chains, and they already snapped the ball.
Thomas getting a play call from his coach on the sideline. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Or I guess timer, if you will. Here's the snap. Again, downfield, Thomas to an open receiver, and he'll immediately be wrapped up. Another short gain. And it seems like...
I think that'll be about 3rd and 3, I believe.
And it seems like all the favor is in possession of Westminster here in the first quarter. Under a minute left to go. Here's another play fake up the middle run. And once more, another small gain for the running back Williams. 30 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Westminster up 7-0. And they'll have time for maybe about 1-2 more plays. Both teams lined back up. Thomas waiting for the snap.
I think they're just going to run this play clock as far down as they can, as Thompson was trying to do anything he could to get the Red Devils to jump off sides.
And the snap is out. Thomas deep into the end zone, and it'll be picked off maybe. I don't think...
Sorry, there's one. I don't think...
Evans.
Couldn't tell who that was, but...
Jawan Evans, I believe, was out of bounds when making the catch, and that will conclude this first quarter. No interception is the call, but the Blue Jays lead it 7-0 through 1, as they seem to have all momentum in their favor. We're going to take a quick break. Again, you are listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
People won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
We return here in Fulton, Missouri at Westminster College after one quarter of Division III football, as the Blue Jays have a 7-0 lead over Eureka, and the Red Devils are going to have to keep defending here. We nearly had an interception to wrap things up in the first quarter. Unfortunately, it did not count as the player was out of bounds. There's a handoff up the middle and a large gain from number 20, Landon Yardley, for the Blue Jays. So it'll be 3rd and 2 as they try to keep pushing the ball forward, trying to make it a 14-0 game. Here's the snap. Handoff from Thomas running to his right, and it'll be close. Westminster thinks they got the first down. We'll wait for the call. Again, that was Williams with the carry. And I believe they're going to give him the first down. Once again, the fans get back into it after that call that went in their favor. And it looks like we're going to have a quick timeout here called by the Red Devils. But Eureka's defense has been fairly well, to the point where I think they'll potentially be able to make a stop here.
Right, and even though they're down 7-0, there's definitely been a lot of times where it could have been a lot worse. And even in the past, it might have been a lot worse, where they would have panicked a little too much or not settled down a little bit. Eureka College Red Devils football is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
So both teams make their way back out on the field, as, once again, I'll repeat myself, but the Blue Jays trying to get another touchdown here in the early stages of quarter number 2. Thomas once again waiting for the snap. He'll get it. Looking downfield, pressure coming. He's going to run to his right with some space. It'll be just shy of a first down, I believe, but a large gain there for Thomas and the Blue Jays. Pressure was coming, but Thomas, who just made a swift move over to his right, found a way to break free from the pressure and made something negative turn into a positive. Here we go once again on the snap. This time the handoff, Williams to his left, and let's see the call. And it is going to be another Blue Jays touchdown, make it 13-0 here in the second quarter.
Well, it was a run to the left, and Thomas faked the run to the right as if he was going to take it himself, and then handed it off, and the Red Devils are back to where they saw themselves just a week ago.
Yeah, so Gates with the touchdown, and the extra point is going to be awarded to Schur, to his first kick of the night. Remember, it was William Corley back in the first quarter. And we've seen a lot of player switches early on between both sides, come to think of it.
We have, as we saw, Darius Warren didn't start the first couple of snaps or the first drive for the Red Devils. Ultimately has came in later on in the first quarter and has continued to be the quarterback as we dive deeper into quarter number 2.
So Eureka's offense will make their way back out onto the field. This will be their 4th drive of the night, and believe it or not, but Eureka still has yet to record a first down. And that kind of just sets the tone for how they've been playing in this game. Again, it's already 14-0 Westminster here in the second quarter. 13 minutes, 18 seconds left to go.
I think with the score as it is right now, I think the defense will set the tone for the Red Devils. Whether they can get big stops to stop the bleeding, I think that will determine how this offense does.
Kick is up. Isom with the catch. He's going to break free from a defender, and he runs into his own teammate, still on his feet to his right, shifting left and right, and he'll finally be brought down at the 30. And boy, you can imagine that could have been something magical for Eureka.
Isom had a lot of space. Unfortunately, ran into his own teammate. Ultimately, still a good gain. Got to about the 30, but potentially could have been more.
Yeah, again, Isom, a sophomore going into this season, we've actually been able to see him develop from his freshman year, and it's been fantastic. Here's a handoff to the left. Crowder wrapped up, brought down by his feet, and I don't believe that will be any sort of gain for Eureka. So it'll actually go down as a loss of a yard for the Red Devils as they look to potentially get their first down of the night. Warren once again waiting for the snap. Clock winding down. Warren looking downfield. He's going to fire this one. Lobbed, still in the air, nearly picked off, and all over that one for Westminster was Campton Hicks. He definitely got a hand on it, but unable to bring it down.
Yeah, Darius Warren was going deeper. The sophomore from Neilsville, Wisconsin, Braylon Boyer. And as you said, Matthew, nearly intercepted, so a break for the Red Devils, as it's going to be 3rd and 11 on the 29.
3rd and long here for Eureka. Warren here on the snap. Looks to his left, has some time. He's going to run forward, fires on the run. Catch is made. Well, being ran into almost. That catch was made by Abraham, and it'll be a good enough for a Eureka first down. their first of the night, so we are already here in the second quarter seeing positive signs.
Kamari Washington was the one that made the catch, and a good job of him hanging on to it as he got bulldozed as he was coming over the middle. And
ball comes out on the handoff. Westminster thinks they got it. Warren visibly upset, and he's walking off the field. He looks like he thinks the Blue Jays have possession. Either that or he's just talking to his coach on the sideline.
And I think he's coming back. I think it was a recovered fumble by the Red Devils, but
yeah, he was visibly frustrated, and it really goes back to the basics. You just have to knock down those fundamentals, as he is well aware. So it'll be 2nd and 14 after that play. Warren again looking downfield, fires, passes, deflected and intercepted. Still on his feet and doing a somersault. That was a huge play there for the Blue Jays, and they regain possession. So nothing going in favor for Eureka up to this point.
Warren was trying to go over the middle, and ultimately the defensive lineman Damian Godley got a tip on it and was able to corral it for the interception. As you said, Matthew, nothing so far going the way in favor of the Red Devils.
First play of the drive is a handoff, and another running play, this time in possession of Yardley. Again, the running back for the Blue Jays, one of a few who are very successful.
So Thompson again, very quickly trying to get the Blue Jays to run this play.
Snap is up. Thomas in some trouble to his right, fires on the run. This one lobbed over there. Catch is made, and that will be plenty good for a first down and more. Westminster inside the red zone. All of a sudden, they have a chance here for their third touchdown of the game. And these passes from Thomas are not the type of passes you'd usually see from a quarterback, but a lot of them coming off of his run and kind of just floating them into the hands of the intended receiver.
Right, and a lot of them are what makes him a dangerous quarterback and a nightmare to face if you're playing defense against him.
There's another handoff up the middle, this time back to Landon Yardley, and it looks like it'll be the third touchdown for the Blue Jays. Make it 20-0. And so they have a chance here to tie their season high for point totals.
A Red Devil down just outside the end zone as the trainers come out and attend to him. We can't really tell who it is yet, but we will announce that when we have further confirmation.
And fortunately enough, that's only been the first injury of this game, which, don't get me wrong, is still very bad to see, but usually we're used to a lot of injuries a lot sooner in the game, and that's not something, thankfully, we have seen in this game.
Right, we're used to, it seems like they're dropping like flies, and I think that was Brent Potts who was down, who we talked about earlier on that deflected pass, and he nearly had an interception. But as we were talking about before, that's what makes Thompson so dangerous, is those throws that normally you wouldn't see made, but he is able to make them anyway. We see the Blue Jays running a lot of out routes. He's able to scramble out of the pocket and make a accurate throw, and that kick was actually no good as it was pulled to the left.
So that'll make sure 1 for 2 tonight in terms of extra points, and it will remain a 20-0 ball game here with 9:32 left to play in the first half. But as I was saying, before that missed extra point, Westminster had an opportunity to tie their season high point total this season. Remember, as we mentioned earlier, they beat Manchester on the road last week, 21-14.
Well, if you were tuned in for the Lincoln Bowl game, and if you remember, Matthew, how the Red Devils were able to get on the board first was right after a missed extra point attempt, so hopefully that'll spark some energy into the Red Devils here, as there's 9:32 left in the first half.
And it didn't happen until the end of the third quarter.
Right.
Coincidence, maybe?
Hopefully we don't have the announcer jinx on our side.
I was going to say history tends to repeat itself, so we'll see how this plays out. But unlike last week's game, the Blue Jays have a much larger lead as the kick is up. Again, this time it will be caught here by Eureka. Running to his left, a lot of space, and he will be brought down at about midfield. Again, that was Theodore on the catch. Freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia.
And this is going to be the best field position Eureka has had so far this game. As you said, 20, that's going to be at exactly the 50, well, maybe about the 49-yard line.
So Eureka with great field position to get things started. Here's the snap, fake handoff. Warren back at it, fires on the run, and that is unfortunately for Eureka over the head of the intended receiver, being David Silva, the junior tight end. So it will be second down for Eureka. Again, they just grabbed their very first down of this game on their last possession, and that number remains at 1. So hoping to pick things up a little bit more on offense here. Warren back at it, 9:19 left to play in this first half. There's a handoff, and he slips, and he's going to be brought down because of it. Aaron Locus, once again, with the carry, nothing to show for it this time.
Yeah, it looked like Locus ran into King Townsend, the tight end. And we've seen that a couple times. Saw it last possession with Devane Isom as he ran into his own guy when he got it to about the 30, and possibly could have also brought it to midfield.
So it'll be 3rd and 10 for Eureka. Warren calling plays, gets the snap, looking downfield, fires. This one nearly picked off, and visibly frustrated here for Westminster. That one off the hands of Devin Hammond, the defensive back. And just not enough velocity on that pass from Warren, which is usually rare. We don't see that a lot from him.
And it's going to be, once again, another 3 and out for the Red Devils, as they, once again, are going to be forced to punt it away with 8:32 left in the second half, and the Blue Jays are up 20-0.
Yeah, once again, the kick is up, this time calling for a fair catch, and it looks like Westminster wants a penalty. It doesn't look like they're going to get one, so they will start with the football, I believe, on the 24, maybe 25-yard line on their side of the field. Fortunately, this isn't the best field position that they've had, so maybe Eureka can come up with a stop here and keep it a 20-0 game. Drew, we mentioned in the pregame that the Red Devils, they're a team that doesn't give up. Last year we saw them get down on themselves when they were losing by a significant amount. This season, though, of course, based off of the Lincoln Bowl alone, they were able to come back and overcome those obstacles and somehow win in the fourth quarter. And we're hoping to see that a little bit here tonight on the road.
Right, last year we saw them check out really early, almost isolate themselves from the game, as they would tend to hit the panic button quite early, it seemed like last year. Now, there were some games where they made it really interesting and close, but you could just see on the sidelines and the body language that compared to now is more energetic, positive. Everyone's there for each other, but last year it was a bit of a struggle. But you know, with every new coach, there's going to be some struggles, and it'll take some time for the Red Devils to be, the Red Devils they once were putting, 30, 40 points on the board consistently.
8:25 left to go. Thomas with a completion to the right side and another short gain as the Red Devils defense quick to cover that one. Their offense all game has been moving very quickly, just trying to get each snap off in a very short amount of time. So it'll be 2nd and 7 on their own 20-yard line for the Blue Jays. Here's the snap. Thomas back at it, and right before he fires downfield, there is a penalty marker on the floor.
So it is going to move the Blue Jays up in field position, as the Red Devils did get caught moving too early, resulting in an offside.
And that's been a little bit of a struggle here for Eureka throughout this game. Here's a handoff up the middle. Another short gain for Westminster here. And to Drew, to further comment on your remark, yeah, Eureka right now standing at 4 penalties in this game. Here's another handoff as the Blue Jays moving very quickly in between snaps. This time a huge takedown. It looks like that one on account of Javon Gibson once more. So very short gains here for the Blue Jays, as we saw in the first quarter, now making its way into the second quarter. 7:12 left to play. Westminster still up 20-0 again. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan and Drew Donnell here on the call. Thomas waiting for the snap. There's a handoff running to his left and just running right into the pile. Again, I believe that time it was Yardley. So it is going to be 3rd down for the Blue Jays here. Just over 6.5 left to go. Huge stop attempt here for the Red Devils. Thomas again waiting for the snap, claps his hands, and here we go. Thomas fires. That one nearly picked off in and out of the hands of number 56 on Eureka, Jordan, the defensive tackle. And unfortunately unable to come up with it, but it will be Eureka football. So they hope to put some points on the board before this first half concludes.
As you said before, with that Red Devils having an issue with the penalties, and I don't really think it matters how good or what a kick.
Yeah, this one just keeps rolling back all the way to the end zone, and this is going to be a great read from Westminster. And again, Eureka with not so great starting field position.
That's going to ultimately send them all the way back to their own 2-yard line.
Very tough scene here for Eureka. And it kind of plays a double standard, because now not only does Eureka have to work that much harder to continue to move the ball down the field. But they also, if they do happen to get fourth down, when they kick off, it won't be as beneficial for them.
Right, at most it'll go about to midfield, maybe a little in front of it at the 40.
Warren taking it himself on the handoff, just wrapped up and thrown to the ground for the second down.
And right now the goal for the Red Devils is going to get in a groove and a streak of getting positive yardage, as they have had a lot of 3-and-outs here, having to force to punt it away.
There's another handoff up the middle, another short gain for Eureka, still being tackled, and finally the play is broken up. It will be 3rd and 6 for the Red Devils. And Drew, on a side note, I unfortunately have some bad news. It looks like they took down the lemonade stand and the food stand. Little unfortunate.
Well, you never want to see that, especially how hot it is up here. I was really craving a ice-cold pink or yellow lemonade.
That honestly would have hit the spot right now. Might just have to go back to the gas station, but just under 5 minutes left to play. It'll be 3rd and 2 for Eureka. Warren here on the snap. He's going to fire, and that one, I believe, is caught. Again, the Blue Jays call it incomplete.
It is no good.
So that'll be 4th down for Eureka, and let's see if they decide to go for it. It doesn't look like it.
And they are bringing the special teams back out, so another 3-and-out for the Red Devils.
Yeah, Eureka just having a tough time obtaining those first downs. Again, in this game, they only have 1 first down compared to Westminster's 12. And that will explain the 20-0 score, but here's the kick, and that one goes absolutely nowhere. I believe it was deflected. The ball is going to just roll out of bounds at the 25 in Eureka territory. So again, Westminster with very good starting field position. And
we did mention earlier that it is Westminster's homecoming night, their homecoming football game, and it looks like some of the locals out that live behind the football field were shooting off some fireworks.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was honestly, I thought I imagined it, to be honest. Had to make sure that
They do say seeing is believing.
So Thomas back on the field with the Blue Jays. He's going to hand it off left side, running with a lot of space, breaking free, and unfortunately falling down for Westminster, but it is going to be plenty good for a first down.
Yeah, there's right now no stopping Thomas and the Blue Jays, as Trace Helsel, the senior from Fulton, Missouri, the native with a tremendous run.
Here's another run play up the middle. Eureka pushing really hard to prevent any more gaining of yards, but it'll be another short gain here for the Blue Jays. 3:50 left to go in this first half. Westminster still up 20-0. Back out on the field, and it looks like Thomas just going to collect some new info from his coach there on the sideline, and 5 seconds on the clock, and there will be a timeout call, I believe, from Westminster. As 3:24 left on the clock, it looks like they're going to try to get one more touchdown in before the end of this first half. But Eureka, of course, hoping to prevent any of that from happening.
Eureka College Red Devils football is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria and Epson Distributors serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core, heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
So both teams start to make their way back out onto the fields. As a reminder, 3:24 left to go in this first half. Westminster up 20-0. And as always, you are listening to EC 103.1 live here from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Again, Matthew Swan, Andrew Donnell bringing you today's coverage. There's a handoff running to the left, and this will be an easy touchdown for Westminster and Trace Helsel. And the fans once again have one more thing to cheer about tonight.
As the local kid, as we've seen so many times from Thompson, just letting his running backs do their thing here this evening, as Helsel with a simple 3-yard run to the left, and that'll extend the lead to, it'll stay at 26, as that is another missed extra point attempt for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, so the second time tonight they're unable to execute on the extra point, but they do put 6 more on the board. Drew, as you said, 26-0 in favor of Westminster, and Eureka will have 3 minutes and 17 seconds to make a statement here left in the first half.
Now, Matthew, I don't know if we've talked about it here on EC 103.1, but you are a Cubs fan. How did you feel seeing Anthony Rizzo back at Wrigley Field after he announced his retirement a couple days ago?
Well, I have to be honest. First off, I'm very happy that he's retiring as a Cub. I do want to say I wish he was able to play for a few more seasons. Unfortunately, that will not be happening. But like I said, I'm happy he's retiring as a Cub. It was great to see him at Wrigley today and see him almost catch a home run in the left field bleachers. But he is a joy, and he's the reason I became a Cubs fan. So it's always great to kind of experience his career while I'm growing up throughout my childhood. Unfortunately, though, the Cubs did lose today, which was a little unfortunate considering Rizzo was retiring today, but...
And unfortunate considering that we tried watching it earlier, but it ended up buffering on
the most important
pitch of the game.
Isom with the return. He'll take that for about 25, and Eureka's offense will come back out onto the field. You can see the Blue Jay mascot walking left and right here in the bleachers. We don't see a lot of that from these Division III schools.
Matthew, I gotta ask, how much do you think of an advantage it is for the Blue Jays, knowing that it is their homecoming night, they do have their fans behind them? How much do you think that plays an advantage for the Blue Jays?
I will answer that after this play. Warren downfield, open receiver, and just over the head. I believe that one was intended for Keyshawn Cohn, but it'll be second down. But Drew, to answer your question, in terms of the physical aspect of gameplay, of course there is no game, but in terms of momentum and the mentality, that significantly impacts the way the Blue Jays are playing and the way it shapes their performance level on the field, especially with as large of a crowd as they have tonight. But it'll be 2nd and 10 here for the Red Devils. 3:04 left to go in this first half. Warren again, another pass, this time to Jack Butler, who runs for a first down, and Morey drops the football, and Westminster is going to recover. Jack Butler was not ready for the hit. It was a blindside hit, and it'll be a turnover from Eureka.
You're right, Matthew. He wasn't ready. It looked like he had the ball punched out. And unfortunate, as it was going to be a first down until he had it stripped from him. So right now, everything offensively and defensively going in favor of the Westminster Blue Jays.
Yeah, so Eureka of course, wanted to put some points on the board before the half ended, and all of a sudden it looks like here the Blue Jays will have another shot to do so with just under 3 minutes left to go. And again, back out on the field, Trey Thomas, the star quarterback for Westminster, and the rest of the offensive line. Play clock has not started yet. Both teams kind of standing out there as Thomas getting a call from his coach, I believe, on the sideline, still figuring out the offensive formation. And the whistle is blown. That will start the play clock. And here we go. Blue Jays looking to add another 6 on the board. Ball on the 39. Here's a snap. Handoff into the hands of Williams to his right. And again, a very short gain for Marquise Williams.
And I'm not sure if there was a...
So it is going to be second down.
So it's going to go against, I believe, the Blue Jays as he kicked a Eureka defender, and that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct, which will push him back to, I believe, I'd say around the 40, call it the 47, 48 yard line.
So as you mentioned, this one will be backed up to 31 on the play. Thomas looking downfield. He's going to go for a long shot here in the middle of 2 Eureka defenders. It'll be incomplete, and third down for the Blue Jays. Those types of plays are always dangerous when you try to aim for one in between 2 defenders, and either way, it looked like Thomas kind of overshot his receiver.
Yeah,
so
we haven't, with as big of a lead as they're getting in, depending on if they increase their lead, it'll definitely be interesting to see if they have Thomas throw the ball more.
And the handoff on 3rd and 24 will not do the Blue Jays any good, as that was Trace Helsell, who unable to make anything big out of that one. And it will be 4th down, and that will take us to our 2-minute warning. So we will take a quick break as both sides start to make their way back to the sideline. Again, you are listening to EC 103.1. Stay tuned as we are live right here from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news on air, online, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
We return here to Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri. Again, Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Drew Donnell, bringing you today's coverage live here on EC 103.1 from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. And as we wrap things up after that 2-minute warning, it is 26-0 Westminster. Looks like they're going to get ready. Westminster will get ready to kick it away. And again, Eureka is going to try to make something big happen here with 2 minutes to go. I believe that is Jack Butler in the backfield. He will be the one returning the football. Here's the snap. Kick nearly deflected. This one is a good kick. Butler not going to go for a fair catch. And he's just going to get hit right after making the catch at around the 21, I would say. Excuse me, the 15-yard line, so I was a few yards off, but It will be first down for the Red Devils. Again, they only have one of those so far tonight, and it's been almost 2 quarters. Their offense off to somewhat of a slow start.
Yeah, the Westminster Blue Jays have gotten a couple fumbles, I believe 2 fumbles, and I believe 2 interceptions so far.
Warren with a completion, and again the ball comes out. It was intended for Theodore, who made the catch, and on the run, the ball was fortunately knocked out of bounds, so Eureka does have possession still, but they do need to start being a little bit more careful, as that is the second time tonight we've seen the football come out.
And because the ball was fumbled and went out of bounds, the ball will be placed at the spot of where it went out of bounds.
So it is a gain of 5 for Eureka, and they have about 1:48 left to go in this first half. Warren on the snap. Again, a completion, but quickly still on his feet, and now he's going to be brought down. That is Keyshawn Cohn, once again, the wide receiver. But that is the second catch he's made tonight. And all of a sudden, we are starting to see more passing from Darius Warren, but not for a lot of yards, as it is now going to be 3rd and 1. Looking downfield, Warren, kind of a pump fake. He's going to take it himself. He runs for the first down, and he is brought down. The clock will continue to wind down, though, and Eureka's going to have to start to move a little bit faster if they want to get some points on the board before this half. Looks like we had a little mishap on the field. Westminster maybe thought Eureka was trying to snap the ball. It is going to be a penalty, though.
Not sure if a penalty was called, or I know I looked over at the game clock and it was a couple seconds behind, which they are, well, they can't continue the game if they don't put the clock to the right time. I believe the official said to put it to 1:08 seconds, and it's at 11:20 right now.
Hey, we'll take the 11:20.
And they now put it back to 1:08 seconds.
Give us more of an opportunity to score here.
No flag was called. So we thought there might have been one, but there wasn't.
2nd and 10, Warren, he's going to run to his right. Looking downfield, he's just going to take it himself and run out of bounds. Right next to the Westminster bench.
And fans looking for a call.
Yeah, as you may or may not have heard through our headsets, the fans did want a call against Eureka on the play.
I believe they were, I think it was either a hold or a push-off by one of the wide receivers. Nonetheless, it is still going to be 3rd and 9 with a minute left.
So as you said, Drew, a minute left to go. Warren in trouble. He's going to be able to break free from a tackle, fires on the run, and the receiver falls down for Eureka. That is unfortunate. It'll be 4th down as Lloyd was unable to remain on his feet. So under a minute to go, and it looks like Westminster will have yet another opportunity here in the very end of the first half to extend their lead.
I hate to see that. Warren looked like he was going to be taken down at about the 30, broke free and had a man downfield wide open. Unfortunately, lost an edge out there. And not saying that if he didn't fall down, he would have caught it, but
very high kick. This one bounces just past the 40 and will be brought in right a little bit past the 40 by Eureka's Braylon Boyer. Again, 44 seconds left to go in this first half. The Blue Jays currently lead it 26-0. And it has been somewhat of a struggle for this Eureka offense up to this point, and Westminster ready to continue scoring in their minds. Here's Thomas on the snap, looking to his left, fires, and that one is going to be caught by Michael Worthy, the wide receiver out of Battlefield, Missouri. Clock continuing to wind down as we reach that 30-second mark. Blue Jays moving quickly. Thomas again looking to pass, and he's going to be taken down. A big hit. Derek Payton Jr. getting all the action right now.
And we saw a little bit of him in the first quarter. It's been a little quiet, though. Haven't seen him as many times as we did in the Lincoln Bowl, but...
I was just going to say, I love his energy. Despite being down by 26, he always brings it in these games. And that will conclude this first half. So Westminster leads it 26-0 through 2 quarters. And as both teams make their way back into the locker rooms, we'll have a lot of discussion, especially from this Eureka side, as they try to propose some sort of game plan offensively. But as I mentioned, that will wrap things up in this first half. So we will be back, but you're going to want to stay tuned for upcoming second half coverage. Once again, Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Drew Donnell. Stay tuned. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
They are our cuddlers and co-workers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Guys, like having a place to live, eating food, wearing clothes, sending 639 texts a week on a shiny new phone? There's one thing that can help you get the money to do all of those things. It's called a job. If you're a guy turning 18, there's one important thing you need to do to make sure the job market is wide open for you. Register with the Selective Service System at sss.gov. Failing to register with Selective Service would mean you'd not only be breaking the law, you'd also be unable to apply for federal jobs, many state and municipal jobs, and all kinds of job training programs the government offers. So guys, take a minute and register with the Selective Service. You'll keep your job prospects open. Otherwise, how are you going to get the basketball shoes with full-length responsive cushioning and an outsole cutout for low-profile impact protection? Take that minute, go to sss.gov and register with Selective Service, and keep all your options open. Remember, it's quick, it's easy, it's the law.
The Best of Our Knowledge explores topics on learning, education, and research. Coming up, a common dragonfly has the ability to thrive in polluted water. We'll explore how one campus is developing a strategy to safely integrate artificial intelligence into instruction, and a public college in Massachusetts is taking a big step to combat food insecurity. I'm Lucas Willard, host of The Best of Our Knowledge. You're listening to The Best of Our Knowledge. I'm Lucas Willard. As colleges and universities begin a new school year, many are grappling with how to implement and regulate the use of artificial intelligence. In the first segment of today's program, we visit Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs, New York. WAMC's Southern Adirondack Bureau Chief Aaron Shello-Levine has the story.
And this is like the most boring slide in the whole thing, but I feel like...
Sam Hawk is just days away from teaching his first statistic classes at Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs. In fact, it'll be his first time teaching anywhere as a full-fledged professor.
Sort of what I'm thinking about doing is designing a policy with my students where on the first day of class, I will give each of them a pad of Post-it notes and display, I think what I'll do is display a question just on a slide that says, is artificial intelligence appropriate to use in this class? And then I'll give them 8 minutes, and in those 8 minutes, I will expect them to write like 15 questions.
With the explosive growth in use of AI models like ChatGPT, Hawk has been busy preparing a collaborative approach.
And so by the end of that class, the goal would be to have an idea of what questions we should answer in determining what that policy should be. And then by the second class, hopefully we will all have thought about it and we can think about it more, but the goal would be to try to answer some of those questions. And I think hopefully that would be helpful in determining what the AI policy should be.
He says because AI is so prevalent, he believes it's important to work with students to determine what role the technology should play in his classrooms.
So I don't have a policy yet. I sort of lean more towards, yeah, the students will have access to this tool, so they should gain familiarity with it. But I definitely don't want that to replace learning. You know, I don't want it to just be like, I give the students the work, they type it into the AI, they hand it back to me, and then I type their work into the AI and say, grade this for me, because then what's happening?
American Studies professor Beck Crafting is the director of Skidmore's Center for Leadership, Teaching, and Learning and runs a new faculty orientation program. She says Hawk's approach is encouraging.
Having those clear boundaries and setting a shared understanding of how to use AI is going to actually help to prevent the misuse of AI throughout the rest of the semester by the students. And they're hungry for clarity and transparency around how they're going to use it. They don't want to misuse it. Most of them are not trying to use them for nefarious ends, but they, without any instruction or guidance, could easily do so without meaning to do so.
Crafting emphasizes that there is no one-size-fits-all solution to AI in the classroom. Skidmore faculty and staff are working to adopt the new technology for various learning environments.
Well, it's really important that we don't infringe on academic freedom. And so even as I create space for training and increased literacy, I want to be clear that it is not something that we are trying to impose upon faculty or staff. It's kind of like, this is here and it's happening. We want you to understand it, and then we want you to make informed decisions about how you use it, or if you use it at all, or the degree to which you use it.
There are, however, some professors who are not as accepting of artificial intelligence.
I do think, we all teach at Skidmore College undergraduates, and those are students of a certain age. So I believe AI can play a role for graduate students, for professional scholars, but there's a developmental or staging argument that makes me think that AI should play no role in the classroom.
English professor Barbara Black is restructuring her classes this year. No grading rubrics, since students can plug them into large language models like ChatGPT, more oral exams, and an emphasis on in-class participation.
I'm making sure, particularly in my composition class, that we read about AI and its relationship to writing. I want my students not to be AI fluent, but AI literate. And what I mean by that distinction is I want them to understand that ChatGPT can take away their agency, it can take away their voice, it can rob them of the opportunity to develop something that I don't think we talk a lot about, rob them of the opportunity of taste, developing a sense of their taste. Who are the more important scholars? Who are the scholars who speak to them? Who are the authors who speak to them?
Reporting for the Southern Adirondack Bureau on the campus of Skidmore College, I'm Aaron Shello-Levine for WAMC News.
This is the best of our knowledge. Students with food insecurity often suffer in the classroom. Colleges across the country have been stepping up to fight hunger on their own campuses. The largest public university in Massachusetts is among them, and recently opened a permanent facility for students and staff alike. WAMC's Pioneer Valley Bureau Chief James Polyologopoulos reports from UMass Amherst.
With more student community cupboards and pantries appearing on college campuses, the University of Massachusetts Amherst has taken things a step further. Ahead of its official opening, shelves and refrigerators were loaded with produce, milk, eggs, and beef jerky, filling part of the former Newman Catholic Center space, an easily accessible spot, says Jake Crane, the pantry's manager.
Access is a huge thing, and if you don't have something that is accessible, then people won't use it, and people won't think that they can use it. And so I think having something right here on campus where people can see it, it just continues to reinforce that this is for you and that this is for everybody, and you need that.
The project took at least 2 years of planning and development. Nationally, at least 1 in 3 college students is believed to face food insecurity, the university says. Pinning down an exact figure for UMass Amherst is difficult, says Crane, who estimates as much as 25% of the university's some 32,000 students experience some degree of food insecurity. Chancellor Javier Reyes tells WAMC getting the pantry up and running was critical.
You have to start with basic needs, and food is basic need. And when you can't just go around your day without knowing what the next meal will come from. It takes your mind away from whatever you're going to be able to do. So being able to remove that then it allows you to really unleash your creativity, unleash your potential without that restriction.
Calling access to food a basic human right, Liv Ben-Ezra, executive director of the nonprofit Amherst Survival Center, says the university's partnership and pantry should lead to over 2,000 people being served in its first year. The pantry itself is about the size of a small grocery mart, with veggies, canned goods, and other foods filling the shelves inside it. Each foodstuff sports a number, its respective point total. Half a dozen eggs is 1 point, while a cucumber or bok choy weighs in at 2. Again, Crane.
So the way it works is you are given a set amount of points to use each month based on the size of your household. So if you have a partner or dependents, you can shop for not only yourself but your entire household. And so the maximum points that you can get, for example, say you're a household of 1, is 70 points, and you can spend those 70 points how you like until you run out, or it's the beginning of the next month.
2,000 students are already registered to use the pantry, which also serves another population Crane and Ben-Ezra says often goes unnoticed, university staff. Here's Ben-Ezra.
The campus pantry is not only about providing food, it is about creating access and dignity and belonging right here where students live and learn. And it is also about us recognizing the realities that many of the employees on this campus face as they are also working hard and struggling to provide for themselves and their families. It is about removing the stigma, normalizing that we all need help sometimes, and building a campus culture where everyone has their needs met and can thrive.
In addition to food drives and other donations, organizers say food from the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts will support the pantry's mission. The campus pantry is open on Tuesdays as well as Thursday through Saturday. Reporting from Amherst, this is James Polyologopoulos at WAMC's Pioneer Valley News Bureau on the campus of Western New England University.
This is the best of our knowledge. I'm Lucas Willard. Picture this. You're walking along a city sidewalk. Up ahead, there's a small park with a pond, and the water does not exactly look inviting. But some creatures seem to be loving that still slimy water. Striking blue dragonflies. What you are imagining is an insect called the blue dasher, and these animals have a knack for adapting to human-altered environments. To learn more, I spoke with Manpreet Kohli, an evolutionary biologist at Baruch College.
Blue dasher, which is Pachydiplix longipennis, is a species of dragonfly in the family Libellulidae, and Libellulidae are one of the most diverse types of dragonflies that you find out there. So if you've seen a dragonfly just walking around in a pond, you've most likely seen the Libellulidae dragonfly, and likely a blue dasher if you're here in New York or in Jersey if you're walking around. So this is it's a small-ish dragonfly, medium to smallish sized dragonfly, about 2.5 to 4.5 centimeters, from the tail till the head. It has a bit of coloration in its wings, but it's called the blue dasher because, well, they fly fast, they're dashing around, and as the insect gets older, they start to collect this sort of like blue powder kind of waxy coating on their tail, and this is the reason they're called blue. So if it is a fresh, mature individual, you'll likely not see the blue color on the tail, but as they get older, with age, they collect this blue color. So this is the blue dasher.
So I've heard a lot of things about dragonflies. I used to work at a nature program when I was a kid at scout camp, and we had a swamp with a lot of dragonflies and damselflies. But
Perfect.
I've heard that, one, dragonflies and damselflies are voracious predators, and they eat a lot of insects that we might consider a nuisance. But two, I've also heard that dragonflies can be an indicator of a healthy environment because they're a predator species and they eat a lot of things. So you need a habitat that supports a lot of different kinds of life. And so that's why maybe this study grabbed me, is because what we're talking about here is a dragonfly that has adapted to love heavily impacted bodies of water in cities and urban environments. So does it strike you as equally curious, I guess?
Yes, absolutely. So you're right, dragonflies are considered very voracious predators, both in their nymph form when they're in the water and as an adult when they are terrestrial. They're very voracious predators. They'll eat all sort of insects, including other dragonflies. And fun fact is that it is considered that they have a kill accuracy of about 95 to 97%, which is the highest in the animal kingdom. So they're better at getting their prey than, I guess, lions and tigers. And also, they are a very important invertebrate group for water quality, because a lot of dragonfly species, they are very sensitive to pollution, right? And partially that is because of the reason you said, is because other invertebrates that live in water or that complete their life cycle in water, like mayflies and caddisflies, they are the prey for these dragonflies. So if those insects are not there, then these species themselves are not there. And just like mayflies and caddisflies, dragonflies also themselves are very sensitive to these pollutants themselves. So usually in a heavy polluted pond, you're not likely to find many mayflies or caddisflies, or if any at all, and you would only find a handful, maybe one or two species of dragonflies. And usually it tends to be Pachydiplix. At least in North America, it tends to be Pachydiplix. So it is a little unusual compared to the vast majority of other dragonflies, that the species does well in these kind of habitats because most members of the dragonflies and damselflies like more pristine water or more clear water. Yeah.
What about this creature has allowed it to survive so well, even in urban environments where water may be polluted, or there may not be a lot of water flow and other things that you might need to have an ecosystem with a lot of different diversity?
So we approached this problem or this question through the genomic lens. So we first sequenced the entire genome of this dragonfly. So we have a very good genome of this entire dragonfly. And we compared that genome to the other genomes from other dragonfly species. And one of the things that stood out is that they show expansion in genes, as in there's a lot of diversity in genes that are related to what we call peptidoglycan catabolic processes. Essentially, peptidoglycan is the thing that bacterial cell walls are made up of. And this catabolic process helps break that down, right? Now, it's not unusual to have peptidoglycan catabolic process. We have it too. We show it too because we have gut microbiome, and all the food that the gut microbiome is producing for us. We need this process to break it down and make it available to us. We take nutrition that way, and most animals do as well. But in this one, it seems like the genes that are responsible for this process seem to be expanding, as in like there's more genetic diversity that we are seeing in these genes, right? Gene family expansions. And that could be an indication of them being able to survive in these kind of habitats because they're likely also encountering a huge diversity of microorganisms.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
All right, listen up, maggot.
Welcome back here to Westminster College for second half coverage. You are listening to EC 103.1. Again, my name is Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner Drew Donnell, bringing you tonight's coverage. And through one half, the Blue Jays lead at 26-0. Momentum has been practically in their favor throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah, that's right, Swanee. We've seen, actually saw the Red Devils started off fairly hot on defense, was still quiet on offense to start this game. And as the first half went on into the second quarter, we saw a lot of mental mistakes, some miscues, a couple of fumbles. Jack Butler had a fumble that could have resulted in a first down. We've seen Darius Warren throw a couple of interceptions, and to put into perspective of how lopsided this game has been so far, the Red Devils have gotten 2 first downs so far, and the Westminster Blue Jays have gotten 13.
Yeah, nothing really sparking offensively here for Eureka, and Drew, as you mentioned, the Blue Jays able to get 13 first downs. Eureka obviously struggling in that category to be exact, but as we are ready to start the second half, we're about a minute underway, and both teams start to make their way back out onto the fields. But, of course, remember last game, Eureka, in the second half is when they really started to show up offensively, and they are hoping to do that same exact thing here in this one.
And we talked about them a lot in the open. We've talked about them a lot throughout pretty much all of the games that we've covered here on EC 103.1. But Matthew, before we went to the break, you had mentioned that Derek Payton, whether the Red Devils are up by 20, down by 20, no matter what the score is, his energy is still the same. and I believe he's only had 2 sacks this game, which is a little low for a guy like Derek Payton, who's always in the mix of things. And even though he hasn't been that hot on defense, that involved on defense, his energy's always been the same, no matter what the score is.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the kind of player that you want to have on your team. Somebody that is willing to take charge despite, you're not always going to be winning. And Peyton realizes that, but none of that matters to him. He's doing what he loves. He's still playing football at the collegiate level. And that is, like I said, a player that you'd like to have. Eureka will start with the football, but Isom is just going to let this one roll out of bounds. And they're right away to start off this third quarter is a penalty marker thrown on the field. I will say Westminster's kicking, their special teams and their kicking has been fairly good for the most part, aside from the attempt at an extra point. Right now they're only 1 for 3 in that aspect. But the Red Devils will actually begin this one on the 35-yard line. Again, it'll be Darius Warren out on the field, hoping to continue recording completions. 15 minutes to play as we get underway in the third quarter. Warren to his left fires, and that one nearly picked off. There was a deflection. I am not sure if it was off of one of the defenders or if it ended up hitting off of Braylon Boyer, but it will go down for the second down.
Yeah, Warren fired a bullet. It had to be a little bit high because, like you said, Matthew, there was a defender in the area. And it's going to be 2nd and 10 on the Red Devils' 35-yard line.
Again, Warren back at it, looking downfield once more. There is a rocket that is intercepted, and Westminster once again has possession, and there is a huge run as that will, as you can tell, get the fans back into it. The second interception of the night for Darius Warren and the Red Devils.
A lot of these interceptions have been off of the deflection. We see another deflection there right into the hands of the Blue Jays, and immediately they put the pressure on the Red Devils and are looking to immediately march back into the end zone.
So whether or not you can hear it through the headset, there is going to be a penalty on that play. A legal block in the back. But the Blue Jays will have a first down here on the 30-yard line in Eureka territory. Here's the snap. Thomas right back at it. He fires to his right. There is a completion and trying to find some space, unable to do so. That is number 8, Keegan Zybel for the Blue Jays.
Well, Trey Thomas for Westminster, the junior from Red Oak, Texas, has been in complete control.
10 for 19 on passing yards. There's a pass that is not going to be caught. The intended receiver ended up slipping, and it'll be second down here for Westminster as Ivan Marin unable to stay on his feet.
So far, Trey Thomas has thrown for 108 yards and 10 for 18 on completions.
He's been a very consistent player in this game, and on the handoff, another short gain. Looks like Westminster will pick up exactly where they left off, and I believe that'll be just short of a first down. So hopefully, as the play clock winding down, I believe they might go for it here. If it'll be 4th and 2 to be exact. Eureka's.
Looks like they might try to go for it here with.
Here's a snap, a fight at the line. Let's wait for the call.
Don't think they got over.
The Blue Jays trying to make a case for themselves, and it will not be a first down, so Eureka will regain possession here in the third quarter.
And the fact that the Red Devils were able to get a stop right after they threw their third interception, and they were able to get a stop is a good sign. Hopefully the Red Devils, led by Warren, can march down the field and start stringing some points together on the board.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, the Eureka Red Devils didn't score last game until the third quarter. Warren in trouble, and he's going to be wrapped up and again thrown to the ground for a loss. It looked like he was able to target an open receiver. Unfortunately, by the time he was about to release the football, he was already being wrapped up. And there is a Blue Jay down on the floor in some pain as the sideline for Westminster all takes a knee.
Well, Warren on that last play just simply took too much time. He tried to wait it out and see if he could find a receiver downfield, and ultimately the pressure got to him and had to take the sack.
So that is unfortunate for the Blue Jays, and right away we can already see that Andrew Martin is walking off the field, fortunately under his own power. So nothing too serious, but he will watch from the sidelines going forward.
That was Nemia Hamilton, the sophomore from Jefferson City, Missouri, that was on the ground during that injury timeout.
Warren back at it. The Westminster sideline starting to chant a little bit. Both teams taking their time. Play clock has yet to begin. And there's the whistle. Just under 13 minutes left to go. Warren play calling down on the field. Here's the snap. He's looking to fire. He's going to try to break free from a couple tackles. Again, a throw on the run for a completion. Looks like the receiver wasn't touched when he caught the ball, so he got back up and started to run, but the referee down on the floor started to blow his whistle. But it is a good gain of about 9 yards for Eureka. And all of a sudden, it looks like they're going to head back to where the play began. I didn't. Oh, okay. So there was a penalty. It looks like must have been thrown after the play was over, and that means this one's going to go against Eureka. So after a great play, it'll practically just be taken right out of the hands of the Red Devils. So it'll now be 3rd and 21 after the penalty instead of a 3rd and 1. So again, you'll have to imagine Warren here is going to look to throw. Both teams lined up. Here's the snap. Warren looking downfield. He's going to have to come up clutch here. Fires again on the run. This one over the head of his intended receiver. And that is going to be 3rd down, So one more chance here for the Red Devils. The PA announcer trying to get the fans back into it a little more. This is still a possible... There is still room for a comeback here for Eureka with 12:28 left to go, only in the 3rd quarter. But it all starts with one big play, and that's something Eureka is looking to accomplish here on this drive. Here's the snap. Warren again downfield. There's a completion running to the right, trying to break free from a tackle. Does so successfully and is finally going to be wrapped up and brought to the ground But overall, a great play there by Aaron Lucas.
And it looks like the
So I believe it's going to be 4th down and a yard because of the penalty that Eureka got called for.
I believe they're going to go for it here.
Yeah, they are going to go for it.
As they don't really have anything to lose.
There's a snap. Warren again going to take it himself, and he does so successfully, as we've seen that from him quite a few times this season. It'll be good enough for a 1st down, and Eureka will continue to hold on to the football as we dig further into this 3rd quarter. That's starting to become a natural play for Darius Warren on the quarterback keeper, just waiting for the snap as soon as he has the football, kind of just directing himself to run forward. And as long as it gets Eureka that 1st down, I imagine he'll keep doing it. Here's a handoff running up the middle with a lot of room. A big hit by Westminster, but a decent gain from Eureka's Delarian Rose. I'd say maybe about 4 or 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, good gain from the freshman from Dallas, Texas. And you weren't kidding, Swanee. You said he got hit hard. He got hit a ton.
Fortunately, able to get right back on his feet, and it'll be 2nd and 6 here for the Red Devils. There's another pass up the middle, and Ivom, I believe, makes the catch. Isom. And it'll be 3rd and just short of that 1st down. So Warren continuing to stick with the short passes and play it safe rather than go for a deep ball. But Eureka able to keep moving the ball up the field with just under 10 minutes left to go. 26-0.
Isom also got his bell rung a little bit as that was helmet-to-helmet contact.
There's another handoff up the middle for the Red Devils. Warren getting into the pile to try to push his guys to get the 1st down. A good carry there from Ronnie Sanders. And Eureka will be awarded with the 1st down. So here in this 3rd quarter, they are already at 3 total 1st downs. They have 2 in this 3rd quarter. They only had a couple back in the 1st half in general. So we're already seeing some improvement from Eureka's offense. It'll be 1st and 10. Warren, another pass right into the hands and deflected, unfortunately, off of Rose. The pass was right there, hit him in the chest. Unfortunately, Rose unable to hold on to it. But that will stop the clock at 9:07.
Warren seems to have found himself in a bit of a comfortable groove with these short passes, so only wonder if he'll go deep. Nope, hand it off again.
This time there's a handoff up the middle, running for a lot of room for Eureka, still on his feet, and finally being brought down as Ronnie Sanders. But what a great play call by Eureka, as Westminster's defense thought Warren was going to stick with it, but Darius Warren with a quick handoff, allowing Sanders to run straight up the middle for a large gain. Now at the 33-yard line in Blue Jays territory. Again, it'll be 1st and 10, just over 8.5 to play. Warren back at it, looking downfield, a lot of time, fires, and this one nearly intercepted. It'll be over the head of Sanders. And again, we see Warren unsuccessful on the deep ball.
And hopefully, it doesn't have to be a touchdown here necessarily, to just focus on getting any sort of points on the board, whether it be the way of a touchdown, field goal, anything little to get the confidence back up for this Red Devils offense.
Yeah, they'll certainly take the
on the
small
ground
wins.
again.
There's Sanders up the middle again for a large gain, and he is inside the 10-yard line. And he is just on fire right now.
Well, this is by far the most first downs the Red Devils have had in a single drive, and this is also going to be the first time that they're in the red zone.
Another handoff. This time, Warren keeps it, looking to gain some space in front, but a very short gain at that. Clock just under 8 minutes. So Woods with the tackle on that one. Eureka, Drew, as we mentioned, almost seem like a different team when they come out of halftime and return back onto the field. All of a sudden, they are threatening. 7.5 left to go in this third quarter. Warren looking to pass. He's going to try to run to his left. A lot of space in front. Fires! And he had the ball. He couldn't hold on. And it was right there in the end zone. I believe Warren potentially could have taken it himself if he angled a little bit to the left. He decided to fire. He found an open receiver, and that's a good call. Hands-on by Darius Warren. Unfortunately, the receiver unable to hold on, and it'll be 3rd and 6.
And Westminster's it's going to call their first time out of this second half. And yeah, Matthew, I think you made a good point. I think Darius Warren had a lot of room and enough time and space to take it himself, possibly. But I mean, when you have a guy that wide open, it's hard to pass up on an opportunity as such. And almost looked like it was a little too hot to handle, as if Warren felt he needed to get it there in a hurry.
Yeah, and it's not a bad play call by the Red Devils at all. It was a good executional play, but unfortunately just unable to hold on to the football. And that's not the first time we've seen this tonight. Warren's made a lot of good throws. He's mostly hitting his guys in the chest. And like you said, Drew, there is a sense of heat behind those throws from Warren, but that one didn't look like it had a lot of velocity on it. And it's just another case of not executing on the basics.
Yeah, whenever you let those mental mistakes get to you is when you start to spin mentally. Everything seems like it's moving 50 miles an hour faster than what it really is.
So we're back at it. Warren looking in the middle of the field, and that will be a Eureka Red Devils touchdown. Their first of the night. They are on the board, 26-6.
Keyshawn Cone, the freshman from Miami, Florida, with the first points of this game for the Red Devils, sitting right in the middle of the end zone.
Warren had a lot of time, and he was able to take advantage of every second until he found Cone, like you said, Drew, right in the middle of the end zone. Perfect pass, perfect play, perfect execution. And Eureka, of course, is going to go for 2 here. And we've seen a lot of success from Warren in these situations. 7:15 left to go in this third quarter. He's going to look to fire. The pass is complete, and he is taken down just shy of the end zone. It'll remain a 26-6 ball game, but that does not take away from the fact that Eureka has recorded their first touchdown of the night.
Yeah, they're easily the best drive the Red Devils have had so far today. Even when they did get some penalties thrown their way, they didn't panic. Lots of strong runs from Sanders, which ultimately led us to the end zone.
Yeah, Sanders really starting to set the tone here in the second half, and he's not a guy that we really mentioned a lot about in the first and second quarter, but that is the importance of having all these guys on your team, and you have guys that are willing to step up. Like we mentioned, Derek Payton Jr., one of those guys on the defensive side of things. But overall, it is a majority of the different players who don't get a lot of recognition who are starting to step up, leading to that Eureka touchdown.
Right, in terms of offense, or specifically the running game, we talk a lot about Jaden Crowder. This time it being Ronnie Sanders.
Here's the kickoff. Westminster going to get a hand on it, running it up the middle, taking it to his right, and he's going to be brought down, so a good stop there from Eureka.
Brought down at about the 30-yard line, maybe the 35.
There was some extra pushing and shoving between Melton and one of the players on Westminster. Unfortunately, it is able to calm itself down a little bit. But you can imagine tensions are high. Like we've been talking about all game, this is Westminster's homecoming game. So, of course, they want to put on a good show for their fans. And speaking of homecoming, Eureka's homecoming game is actually set for October 11th at Benedictine. And that kickoff will begin at 5 p.m. But for now, Thomas back at it. A quick handoff and a huge tackle from Eureka. That one accounted to Will Watkins. It'll be a loss of 2. And like I said, Eureka seems to be like a completely different team here in the second half. Both teams lined up once again. 18 seconds on the clock. The play clock to be exact. Thomas taking his time. Clapped his hands. He's going to look downfield. Looking to his left. He's going to fire. And that one is going to be caught on the dive by Michael Worthy. Running straight up the line. Stops his feet. Twists to his right for the catch. Able to keep his feet in bounds.
So it'll be 3rd and 2 for the Westminster Blue Jays as they look to avoid a 3-and-out.
Back at it. Here's a handoff. He's going to take it to the right, and this is going to be good enough for a first down on the carry by Isaiah Gates. And that will give Westminster something to be a little bit hopeful about after a rough start to the third quarter. Five and a half minutes left to go here in this third quarter.
We've seen a lot of action from all the running backs for the Blue Jays. We've seen Trace Hessel, Isaiah Gates, Marquise Williams, and Landon Yardley. Each of them besides Williams has a touchdown.
Thomas is going to fire this one to the right side, and the catch is complete again. This time Connor Coffey with the catch. So Trey Thomas starting to connect with some of his receivers. It'll be good enough for a short gain. It'll be second down, though. Despite the completion, Thomas again clapping his hands, and all of a sudden, the momentum shifting back into the Blue Jays' favor. Sideline starting to cheer on their teammates. There's another handoff to the left this time. And Eureka going to wrap up Isaiah Gates for another short carry.
I think with them being up 20, we're starting to see a little bit of less urgency from the Blue Jays offense. We saw saw Trey Thomas take a lot more time than usual than we've seen compared to this first half.
Yeah, they definitely have started to slow down a little bit. Eureka was fortunate enough to get a solid offensive start after their interception to begin the third quarter. And all of a sudden, their defense starting to play as well. Thomas fires to the right. That one will be caught and able to get past the defender. And finally, he will be brought down by Jawan Evans. And that could have been a huge stop for Eureka. Unfortunately, the original defender, again, unable to stay on his feet. And we've seen that several times from both sides here tonight. Just players who maybe get a little antsy in situations where they have an opportunity to make this play.
So there is a penalty called for a block on the back on the Blue Jays to let them send them back to about the 51-yard line.
So the Red Devils catch a very important break. It'll be 3rd and 6 for Westminster.
Excuse me, the 49.
Yeah, just right around that 50-yard line, hovering over the Blue Jays logo midfield. Thomas on the snap, he's going to fire. Looking across all sides of the field, throws over the middle, and that one falls perfectly into the hands of Keegan Zeibel for a first down and plenty. And that will get the Blue Jays fans on their feet.
Well, the Red Devils gave Thomas way too much time. He had a lot of time in the pocket and was able to find his man downfield and marching closer and closer to the red zone.
Yeah, again, Eureka had a huge opportunity there. This time the handoff. Nothing to show for it. Another short gain for Westminster. 3 minutes left to go here in this third quarter. Westminster leads at 26-6. And I would say this is the fastest quarter we've seen all game so far. Both teams are being very productive down on the field.
2:42 left to play.
Taking advantage of every opportunity. Both teams lined up, ready to go. Here's the snap. Thomas. Fake handoff. Now he's going to fire on the run. Nearly picked off. And it looks like that is going to be a third down. It didn't look like the catch was made. And of course, for the Red Devils on that right side, Javon Gibson clearly signaling that he did not interfere with the play. So it'll be 3rd and 10. Here's the snap. Thomas in trouble. He's going to try to run up the middle, and he's going to be taken down instead for the 4th down. Struggling? Don't worry, everybody. Drew is just trying to put his headset back together.
Well, if you heard a loud bang in the background, I tripped over the charger of my computer, and I tried to itch my ear, and down went the headphones.
So Westminster goes for the field goal and is successful. That'll make it a 29-6 ball game.
I am all right, Swan. Thank you for your concern. And now that'll make it 29-6 Blue Jays.
I'm just trying to contain myself. Oh, that was good. Don't think I've ever had that happen on a broadcast before. Good times, honestly.
Oh, rough day. Rough couple of...
Rough week.
Rough week indeed.
But both teams will switch sides on the field. Eureka getting back on offense, and Westminster will prepare to defend again. Well, once again, after the field goal, it is a 29-6 ball game. 1:37 left to play here in this third quarter.
I think me there tripping just made me forget about the heat and agony that's happening in this room with
Very true.
No air conditioning.
For those of you that cannot see us, we probably look absolutely terrible right now. It is very hot in this press box. There's no AC. We are sweating significantly, but we get back into play. Isom is going to make the catch. He's going to run to his left, try to break free, and unfortunately he's going to get taken down just short.
Flag is thrown in late after the hit.
He was taken down just shy of the 25. And Drew, as you said, the penalty marker does make another appearance.
So as we wait to see what the call on the field is going to be, the Red Devils are going to try to go downfield to put up another touchdown.
Well, Eureka already has 5 penalties in this game, so make that 6 as Eureka gets called for holding, and they will be brought back.
So Warren going to have to work back from about the 9-yard line.
It'll be first down. Warren, fake handoff, steps to his left. He's going to fire on the run again, and looks like maybe the ball just slipped out of his hands as that one fell way short of the intended receiver.
Well, he didn't see an option open as it was a play action was on and just was the better option to throw it away.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the play you have to go with in that case. So it'll be second down for Eureka. Both teams back, ready to get underway once again. Warren on the snap. There's a handoff. Looks like a trick play here from Eureka, and it doesn't do them whole lot of good as Isom was taken down. Looks like Warren went with the fake handoff, went to his right, and then the Westminster defense kind of had to take a second to realize who really had the football. And as soon as they caught on, they were able to act quickly. It'll be a gain. Actually, looks like that was a loss.
So it'll be 3rd and 15 as the clock winds down under a minute. Approaching 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, approaching the 4th quarter.
Warren's going to have to fire across the middle. He finds an open receiver for the completion, but yet it will not be good enough for a first down. And again, I'd imagine Eureka would want to stick with it, but it doesn't appear that that is the option they're going to go with, so they'll kick it away. It was only about 8 yards, but I mean, at this point in the game, 29-6, there's, like you said earlier, Drew, not really a whole lot to lose. But Eureka will play it safe and bring out the punt team. And for Westminster, they get ready to return. And it looks like that will actually wrap up this 3rd quarter. So the Red Devils do score their first points of the game on a touchdown, but they still trail by a whole lot. You're going to want to stay tuned for 4th quarter coverage coming up right here on EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
All right, listen up, maggots, because I got something to say that you need to hear. It's for every man 18 through 25. You want to live in my United States? Then you've got to register with Selective Service. Fact is, you must register before you can qualify for student loans, most federal jobs, or job training. So go online at sss.gov or go to any post office. Wait a minute, you did it already? Outstanding! You've earned my respect. Hoorah!
Welcome back. We are getting underway for this 4th quarter to start here in Fulton, Missouri, as the Blue Jays still lead at 29-6. Eureka, after just kicking the football away, or excuse me, they're about to kick it away, allowing Westminster to have an first chance here in this 4th quarter as their players on the sideline get a little bit more into it. But they did score a touchdown in that 3rd quarter, so they find a way to put points on the board. Here's the kick, very high one, This will already be in Eureka territory, and the fair catch will be made. So again, Westminster with great starting field position. The fans below us are receiving some giveaways as some of the workers at Westminster are using a slingshot to, it looks like, give away some shirts. Maybe some homecoming shirts for the parents in attendance. That was a good slingshot attempt.
Might need to be an idea we pitch in for football games at Mackenzie Field.
Yeah, that is true. Both teams back out on the field. Westminster with the football. It'll be Trey Thomas waiting for the snap. 14:54 left to go in this third quarter. Thomas is going to pass, looking downfield. He's going to be wrapped up and taken down by Ethan Pollitt. And that is a huge play from this Eureka defense to set the standard. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the fans right now are honestly more involved in the giveaways rather than the actual football game.
Well, you can't blame them at all. I mean, you got to want it more than the next person if you want a T-shirt in 2025.
That's true. I remember going to some ball games myself, and you kind of do anything to get a giveaway.
Oh, for sure.
You honestly
it's
become
like
a different person.
You want to get a baseball.
Yeah. Here's a pass from Thomas. That'll be complete for a short gain. That one into the hands of Ivan Marin. So Thomas with yet another completion in this game. It will be third down. As I mentioned, it was a very short pass. And it'll be 3rd and 15 here on the play. The Blue Jays offense is starting to struggle here in the second half. There's the snap. Thomas looking downfield. He's going to run up the middle. Breaks free from a tackle, and finally he will be brought down by a couple Red Devils defenders. One of those Eureka players being Rashawn Calhoun, and that will be a 4th down for the Blue Jays. So a quick 3 up, 3 out, and the offense here for Eureka is going to have another opportunity. .30 left to go in this fourth quarter. Here's the snap. The kick is up. Eureka's going to have to call, looks like, maybe for a fair catch, and the ball actually bounces in favor of Eureka. Fortunately for the Blue Jays, they will pick it up before it can bounce any further, and the Red Devils looks like they're going to start at maybe the 19-yard line, just shy of the 20. But with the way that Darius Warren and the rest of the Eureka team displayed themselves in the third quarter, you have some confidence in your team now that they've shown that they're starting to get back into it a little bit. Maybe not enough to the point where a comeback can be made, but this team is full of surprises. Warren, he's going to hand it off. The ball comes out, and it looks like Warren's just going to land right on top of it. So the Red Devils do catch another break. Unfortunately, it'll be a loss on the play of about 5 yards. So not the start Eureka was hoping for, but overall, they are starting to kind of find a pattern and their own way of doing things down on the field.
Yeah, their drives have been better as of recent.
Warren's going to break free from some defenders. He's going to fire. This one looks like it's going to be caught. I'm not necessarily sure. It is right in front of the sideline for the Blue Jays. And I believe the catch was made, I want to say, by Gilchrist, but we will wait for the official signal. Again, it was hard to tell, and it looks like it is going to be a completion for just shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and 3. So another completion there from Darius Warren, the junior quarterback. As we approach the 12-minute mark here in the fourth quarter, Westminster up 29-6. Here's the snap. Warren, a quick pass, and that is going to be complete, and falling to the ground is Jeremiah Washington, but it is good enough for a first down.
Keeping it simple is Darius Warren, not really going down the field for those long bombs, just keeping it simple, trying to get about 5 to 6 yards every play. And this is that groove that we were talking about earlier that they got to get into.
Yeah, Warren trying not to overcomplicate things, and as we saw from some earlier plays, he hasn't been extremely successful with the deep ball, but that is not to steal his thunder at all. Warren is going to go for a pass again. Here is a deep ball, and that one's going to be way short of the intended receiver. Looks like he overran the ball a little bit, and that, as we mentioned last game, is the importance of knowing where the ball is going to land.
Eureka College Red Devils football is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent to more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson knows precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
Warren able to make the completion to Beverson, not Beverson Noel. See, I have my numbers mixed up. For those of you that do not know, there were some number changes prior to the start of the game. So some of the Red Devils players may not be wearing the exact jersey that you are used to them wearing. As we found out prior to the start of the game. But the clock just over 11 minutes. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Eureka. And again, Westminster, who has been on top all game, remains on top 29-6. Both teams out of their huddles, ready to get this play underway. And as the play clock hits 0, I don't believe Eureka took a timeout. So it will be a penalty, their 7th of the night, and that will bring them back. Westminster's sideline getting louder as looks like maybe they're getting into the heads of the Eureka players.
Yeah, they have been up and at it all night since opening kickoff here in Fulton, Missouri.
3rd and long. Warren looking downfield to his right. Now he's going to step to his left. Fake pass. Tries to stiff arm, and he's just going to be ran out of bounds, and a tackle despite being out of bounds already. Eureka obviously doesn't like that. The referees step in right away trying to break it up. Few flags are going to be thrown. And yeah, I mean, Westminster is obviously going to have a talking to about that. Warren was already out of bounds after running to his left. And for some reason, they decided to tackle him anyways and push him to the ground. So there is going to be a 15-yard penalty against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and if you're the head coach of the Blue Jays, can't be happy about that. It's an unnecessary penalty and a careless penalty of 23 points.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. They've already, they've proved their point. They've scored 29. We understand it's your homecoming, we get it, but it gets to a point where, you have to eventually watch out for the health of the players on the other side. And a good job by Darius Warren to not engage and fall for the rage bait, if you will.
Right, because we see that a lot where opponents will get under the Red Devils' skin and then we'll retaliate and then it'll fall against us.
That time, Warren fires incomplete to little Stephen Lloyd, the freshman out of Texas. Throw was just a little short, and that will be 2nd down for Eureka. They now hold the ball on the 40-yard line in Blue Jays territory after the 15-yard penalty. Just under 10.5 left to go. The Blue Jays sideline chanting defense. Here's the snap. Warren looking to fire once again to his right and in and out of the hands of Lloyd. Again, that time I think he had a much cleaner opportunity. So
yeah, Lloyd would like to have, he'd like to have that one back as, I mean, it was right there for him. It was as perfect as it gets, but somehow still not to corral it and gain more yards out of that. So it'll be 3rd and 10 on the 40.
Warren ready, 3rd and long. Here's Warren looking downfield. He's going to run, fire on the run, and it is nearly picked off. It was deflected off of one of the defenders, floated in the air for what felt like an eternity, and it will bring the Red Devils to their 4th down of the drive.
And I think with being down 23 with just a little over 10 minutes to play in the 4th, you kind of have to go for it here if you want to have any chance of staying close to the Blue Jays in this game.
Yeah, they are going to go for it on 4th and 10. Warren, pressure coming. He's going to try to run up the middle. Still on his feet. Fires. And that is going to be caught with a lot of running room ahead. A huge play by and Terrion Theodore for a 1st down and more. And that is some quick decision-making skills.
Yeah, that's easily the best play we've seen so far from Darius Warren. It looked like he was about to get sacked, and then he was able to spin out of the tackle and find Theodore. And once again, just outside of the red zone.
So it is a 1st down and plenty for Eureka. Here's a timeout from Westminster, I believe. But we do have just over 9.5 minutes left to go in this game. But overall, I mean, even if, despite the 29 points given up and only scoring 6 offensively, you do have to admit that Eureka has significantly improved throughout the past year. Keep in mind, they didn't win a single game last year, and they also had some struggles even putting up any points on the board.
Right, this is even you still have to take the positives out of any loss, no matter how small or big they may be. And there have been a lot of pros on defense, especially towards the beginning of the game. Not as much lately, but pros on offense compared to the beginning of the game are a lot better now.
So
we'll see Darius Warren try to lead his team into the end zone, 1st and 10 on the Blue Jays 15-yard line.
As I mentioned earlier, 9.5 to go. Warren's going to fire into the end zone and just out of reach of the intended receiver, that time being Starks. Yeah, we mentioned Warren hasn't been extremely successful on the deep ball, and he has the arm strength for sure. It's just a matter of locating his receiver, which we know he tends to do pretty well.
Yeah, he's very capable of making tough plays look very easy.
Yeah, that is very true. Just under 9.5 to go. Warren again, he's looking to pass once more over the middle, and he was hit on the throw, it looked like, or maybe falling as he released the football. So it'll be 3rd down for Eureka. Very interesting way of presenting the 3rd down by the Westminster
you gotta
PA
imagine
announcer.
the poor guy's vocal cords or, laugh box even. Mike, he's got to go out of circuit at some point. This guy, there is no quitting that guy next door.
3rd down, incomplete pass after that one was in and out of the hands of Sanders. So that will be 4th down for Eureka, and Drew, we did see the Red Devils working on the field goal attempts pregame, but again, you could probably imagine they're going to stick with...
It does look like they're going to stick with the offense out there and not go to the special teams.
So Westminster sideline once again, starting to get into it a little bit more. Warren and the Red Devils going to go for it here. Here's the snap. Warren, he's going to run to his right.
Coming.
He breaks free from the first tackle, trying to get through. Gets a first down. Does he have the touchdown? Eureka thinks they do. Let's wait for the call.
Looked like his helmet came off, too.
That would be a very electric play by Darius Warren if he was able to get that.
I don't think he got it. I think the knee hit before he reached over.
He did get the first down and plenty more, and they are going to go with a switch of quarterbacks here. Remember who we saw very early in the game, Rudolph Jones Jr. is now taking over as the quarterback, maybe trying to record his first collegiate touchdown. Just over 8.5 to go. Jones going to take it himself, running to his left, taking an angle, and he's going to be brought down for a loss. Maybe not the smartest move by Jones.
Yeah, he probably could have not ran as far out to the left, maybe taken a more direct middle route, and instead made it a lot harder and a lot longer for the offense.
Yeah, and Drew, I was motioning, like, honestly, the easiest route is probably just up the middle.
Yeah, you're really getting into it there.
I'm directing the plays up here.
All right, I pushed him about 4 yards back, but we'll see if he can.
Warren back out on the field. There's the handoff running up the middle. Not good enough for a touchdown, but it is another small gain.
That was handed off to Jaden Crowder. And he got it up to about, I believe, the 2. Well, looks like it's going to be more the 3-yard line, as it looks like there is a injured Blue Jay on the ground. But he's able to get up and walk off.
And the fans applaud for his courage down on the field.
And that's... I believe that is Chase Arnold out there.
So both teams in their huddle waiting to get back on the field. Just under 7.5 minutes left to go. Again, you are listening to EC 103.1 live in Fulton, Missouri from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Again, Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Drew Donnell, bringing you tonight's coverage.
Jones pressure coming.
And no good on the attempt there, and that will be 4th down, but again, I believe Eureka would stick with it. Try to go for it. Warren looks like he's going to stick on the field.
Yeah. Jones tried to go to the left of the end zone. Pressure was coming fast. They put an all-out blitz out there, the Blue Jays did, and the pressure was just too much for Rudolph Jones Jr. As with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, the crowd gets into it here on 4th and goal.
So here's Warren on the snap. He's looking downfield, lobs it into the end zone. Catch nearly made. And that, there will be no penalty call. And a huge 4th down stop there for the Blue Jays, as it will remain a 29-6 ball game. And they regain possession here late in the 4th quarter.
Those are the ones that'll eat you alive. The ones where you're 1st and goal and just are not able to capitalize.
Yeah, and
it's just, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, it's just been one of those days for the Red Devils.
Yeah, and the greatest thing about this is that you go home, you know, realize what you did wrong, what you could have done better, and that's what they practice for all week long. And you have to get that feeling that that's why they come out every week, and they end up surprising a lot of people with the talent level they bring out to the field each game. Like we were talking about earlier, they've already significantly improved from last season. We've seen passing more, which was a huge passing. They didn't do a lot last season, but even scoring is something they've done a lot more this season already. So it'll be 2nd and 11 for Westminster. Trey Thomas waiting for the snap. 3 on the play clock. They're going to have to get the play out here. They get it out at the last second. He's going to go with the handoff up the middle, and looks like maybe no gain or a very short gain at the most. But either way, it'll be 3rd down for the Blue Jays as the clock continues to wind down.
Just a little under 6 minutes left to go here. Once again here in Fulton, Missouri.
Ready for the drive back?
I am. I'm ready to get this humidity shield off of me in the shower.
I agree 100%. 5:43 left to play. 4 on the play clock again, waiting till the very last second. Thomas able to get it up. There's a fake handoff. Thomas looking downfield, fires to right over the middle, and the catch is made. What a play for Westminster. And number 19, Michael Worthy with the leaping grab, running across the middle for the first down.
Worthy with the slant over the middle, beat his man, Javon Gibson, and just a beautiful throw from Thomas, as that was about a 40-yard throw.
So again, first down for Westminster, and they look to even further move the ball down the field. That pass by Thomas was nearly picked off, deflected, but not caught by Eureka.
Deflected by Cuvion Mitchell, the junior from Chicago, Illinois.
Way to represent Chicago.
Oh, of course.
.444 left to play. Westminster leads it 29-6. They've carried the momentum throughout the entire course of the game. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Blue Jays. Thomas waiting for the snap. Looking downfield, fires to his left. This one into the hands of the intended receiver, and it's going to take several Red Devils to bring him down. But another completion for the junior, and that will make him 18 for 28.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about how Thomas has let a lot of his running backs do the work for him in terms of the run game, but Thomas has also had a good game in terms of passing.
As that time he lets Hassel take possession and run it for a first down. Just under 4 minutes left to play. Clock really starting to come down now. Play clock at 15, winding down pretty quickly. And the Blue Jays really taking their time here on this call.
Yeah, no need to rush. Keep the ball on the ground here. Don't want to.
There's a handoff to the left. A lot of room up the middle. Looks like it'll be just short of the first down, but another beneficial gain for Westminster. Just shy. It'll be 2nd and 1.
And looks like this will be the last play. After this play, we'll head into the 2-minute warning.
Here it is on 2nd and 1. Thomas, he's just going to...
Yeah, he's going to let this thing run out to about 5 seconds.
And that's been the game plan here for the Blue Jays throughout this drive. 1 second on the play clock. Here's the snap, the handoff up the middle. Looks like Peyton getting a hand on it, and he's going to bring down Landon Yardley. Another short gain. But Drew, as you mentioned, that will likely bring us to the 2-minute warning here in the fourth quarter. But the Blue Jays still on top 29-6. It looks like they will be the ones to go home happy tonight. And we are going to take a quick break here in this 2-minute warning. You're going to want to stay tuned. You are listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. My name is Matthew Swan. Drew Donnell standing alongside me, and we bring you the remaining 2 minutes here in this fourth quarter of Week 2. This one between the Eureka Red Devils and the Westminster Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have led all the way right now. They're up 29-6. They hold possession of the football. It'll be 3rd and 1. Again, with 2 minutes left to go. Thomas waiting for the snap. He's going to hand it off up the middle, and I believe that should be good enough for a first down. We'll wait for the official signal. And it is going to be a first down for Westminster.
I think every time you said who I am standing with you, I think I'm always sitting.
That's true.
But no one has to know that because it's on the radio.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of weird how we have like those type of preferences. For some reason, I never like to sit when I broadcast. I need to be like up and standing and really getting into it. Although I have tried to sit during a game
bones
before.
in my back are about 30 years older than what my real age is.
That's valid. That is completely valid. But hey, we have a 4, maybe 5 hour drive back home.
Gotta love it. And Thomas is just gonna take the knee and let the clock run out here.
So yeah, as we approach that 1 minute mark here in this fourth quarter, it looks like that
should take us to the end of the game.
Yeah, maybe one more snap for the Blue Jays, but these Westminster fans will go home happy. The Blue Jays themselves will go home happy with a homecoming win here against the Red Devils.
And they extend their record to 2-0. And this will have the Red Devils still at a respectable 1-1.
So a very great way to continue their season for Westminster, Drew, as you mentioned. 2-0 on the season. Eureka falls to 1-1. Both teams next week will begin conference play. But like I mentioned earlier, Westminster had the lead the entire way through. Eureka started to pick up some momentum in the second half. More specifically in that third quarter, they scored a touchdown, unable to convert for the extra 2 points, but the final is 29-6. Fortunately for Red Devils fans, our next broadcast of Eureka College football will be on September 20th when Eureka visits Rockford. Our coverage is going to begin at around 1 p.m. Again, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Eureka College football is made possible by City Blue Technologies. They are a leading Epson dealer serving Central Illinois. The executive producer of Eureka College is Dr. John Malone. Tonight's studio operator was also Dr. John Malone. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Drew Donnell, this is Matthew Swan. Thank you all for listening.